It has been 24 hours since I've had the vaccination, and I'm feeling fine. Just a bit tired. I think I've done 3 nights, so I'm just tired, and I've only just woken up. So yesterday after I had the vaccine, I went up and worked a whole 12 and a half hour shift, very busy. Um, and the only thing that I had was a little bit of pain on my arm, but I managed to lift it. I was doing stuff with it. I haven't had to take any pain relief. So physically, I am okay. Just to share with you why I decided to make this decision. I think what tipped me over was this week on Tuesday. I got a call from my daughter's nursery. She's 2, and they say that one of the children in her bubble, or somebody in her bubble, was COVID positive. And she wasn't in direct contact with that person, but because she's in that bubble, she's been asked to isolate. And I mean, as a family, we're doing our best to make sure that we're complying with her isolation. But because she is a contact, she's not a first case, and she's not she did not physically come into contact with that person, but she was around people within the same bubble. So I made sure that my family got tested. I've got a little what we call the low flow tests, so that we got in from work. So all of us, I tested all of us, and we're all negative. We're all asymptomatic, so nobody's showing symptoms, and we are doing our best to stay safe. Now, that threw me over, that my 2-year-old could be exposed, and I don't know um, what I would do or how I would feel if she was in a very critical condition with COVID. So that got me thinking to say, I've been looking at studies, doing research, sitting on webinars, speaking to people in my community, outside my community, people who are experts in the field. Weighing up the pros and cons of either the mRNA vaccine or a DNA based vaccine, all of that. But once I heard this, and it hits you when it's personal. I went into work Tuesday, booked in for vaccination. I got a slot for Thursday, which was yesterday, and I got vaccinated. I think the hardest part is the decision making of actually getting the vaccine done. When you sit in the chair and it's done, it's easy, but the decision making process is hard. And I would encourage it for anybody considering a vaccine. Even if you're not, I would encourage it. I would encourage you all to take time, do your research so that you can understand what this is about. Don't just take sound bites from people, because there's a lot of rumors, lots of myths, and there's a lot of racial history and mistrust when it comes to vaccine, especially for people of color and for people from ethnic minority communities. And that plays in to the fear that's out there. I mean, the things that I'm hearing, that there's fetuses, in aborted fetus in the vaccine, that there's animal products. So whether it's a cow or a pig, which is hitting like the Hindu community, or whether it's hitting the Muslim community, and it's attacking people's beliefs from different angles. Do your research. I mean, what's in the vaccines is public, and we all have access to that. And I would like to think that I'm in a position of privilege. I know that I'm in a position of privilege initially, because I have access to the vaccine, and I have a choice to what sort of vaccine I want to take. And not many people have that opportunity. When I went to get my vaccine yesterday, there was security there to make sure that things are working well. But I did not realize that so many people are actually coming to the vaccine centers and being turned back. So these are people who have not been called to come and get the vaccine done, but they want to have it. But because they're not on the list, they're being turned back. And that makes me acknowledge, I have to acknowledge my position of privilege. So if you are in a position of privilege, don't take it lightly. Sit down and take it seriously. Think about it. Do your research. Remember, this is not something that's being forced on you. This is a choice, and a choice is a privilege. it is a privilege. So utilize that privilege and make sure that you're making an informed decision when you're making your choice, whether you choose to have it or not. I initially didn't want to have it because I was very skeptic around the speed of the vaccine. I was very skeptic around the newness, especially of Pfizer on the mRNA as an mRNA vaccine. And I was skeptic because I want to have more children. I've got two beautiful girls, and we would like to have more, God willing. But there isn't enough research and study around what the vaccine does to pregnant women or in pregnancy or whilst you're breastfeeding and so on. Um, so I was quite hesitant about that. I know it's written, I think, on the documentation that you get that wait at least 2 months before you get pregnant. I think it's just a precautionary measure just to make sure that the vaccine's working well. So they're not telling you not to get pregnant. I mean, I heard rumors that you have to sign a waiver that you won't get pregnant in about a year or 6 years. So there's all of that going around. Um, but I had to make the choice to say, yes, I would like to have more children, but wouldn't it be better if I was around for the children that I have now to stick around and look after them? Because I'm still leaving myself exposed. So I am high risk. I've been deemed to be high risk on medical conditions. Um, and I work in a very high risk environment in critical care, and my work is doing a fabulous job in protecting me and ensuring that I am safe and I'm practicing safely. I've got my PPE, they're putting me in the right environments where I can work. Um, and they've offered me, so I'm not faulting them, they have offered me the opportunity to get a vaccine from different managers on at different shifts. I even had HR call me. So my trust has been instrumental in ensuring that they're providing me access, but they also respected my decision. So they put it up on the system that Sala says she's going to make her decision when she's ready. So they respected my decision, but they still kept coming and asking and informing me. So it is not by force, or by fire. It is by choice. And a lot of my colleagues have had it, black, white, Asian, yellow, green, pink, whatever color they are. And I've watched them and they're doing well. And I've seen that, you know what, I also need to have a civic responsibility. That's another side of my decision making. So I want to be around for my kids. And I know I've got a civic duty as a healthcare worker to protect my patients, to protect my colleagues. And if I'm protected, I am protecting them and I'm not putting them at risk. And I'm making sure that we're all safe as best as we can be. So I have that civic duty and responsibility. And I also have the ability and access to have this vaccine. So my fellow Malawians, we know that we're getting vaccines in Malawi that will probably only be able to vaccine about 20% of the country. And now questions of how is this going to be disseminated fairly is coming into play. Whilst here, I have access to it. So my fellow Malawians may not all have access to it, but I do. So once again, that privileged position that I'm in, I should not waste that. I should utilize that as best as I can and make an informed decision. So, yes, I know there's a lot of history around racism and around vaccinations. Around, we've all heard about what's happened in the Tuskegee trials. We all heard about what's happened in Puerto Rico with regards to fertility, women's fertility, when they were looking at birth control. I mean, there's a lot of vaccines that have gone wrong and have done harm than good in places all over Africa, in India, and other places in Asia. So, yes, I am aware that things are not perfect, but this is a learning curve. And I think now there's a lot of transparency and things are out there in the open. So, search, dig, listen, ask, query, pray. I mean, I've prayed about it. And make your peace. And I've made my peace with my God, and I've left all of this in his hands because I said, you know what, I trust you, and he will ultimately keep me safe. But I have to play my part. So another thing is also about participation in research. I know there's not a lot of data with the current vaccines, but if we don't participate from our communities, there will be no data. There will not be adequate data. Um, and I feel that it's my responsibility to take part in that so that I can provide data for my people so that they can be making informed decisions to say X amount of people from my community took it and this is what's happened. These are the side effects. So I want to be a part of that in terms of helping people make decisions as they go on, in their process to see whether they want to have the vaccine or not. So yeah, this has been a long spiel. I wasn't intending on it being that, but just wanted to encourage you to, make an informed decision. Don't be scared to ask questions. Ask the questions. And we're very good at scaremongering, and we're very good at whispering gossip. Don't just take what somebody else says as gospel truth. Go out there and find out what the evidence is saying. And once you have that right information, then make your decision. So even if you choose not to have it, it's okay. You're making an informed decision, isn't it? It's your choice, it's your life, it's your body, and you can do what you want with it. And I choose to have the vaccine because I want to protect the people that I love, and I want to be around for the people that I love, and I want to protect the people that I look after and be around to be able to look after for them as long as possible. So stay safe. Yeah, wash your hands, put on your mask, do what you're supposed to be doing. Stay in contact with people, keep your mental health up, keep your physical health up, eat well, make sure you're popping those vitamins. And we're gonna get through this, we're gonna get through this. This is something new, but we're gonna fight it together. All right, God bless you all. Bye.